Canada and Cape Town, September 16, 2023. Where a strong storm brings high waves that have a bad impact on the entire city. Nature buried its fangs in Cape Town and parts of the Eastern Cape on Saturday as heavy rains caused widespread destruction and left several areas without electricity. In Gordons Bay, a high tide swept away cars as panicked residents could do nothing but watch. Torrential rains have left a trail of destruction in some parts in the Western Cape and Eastern Cape after rivers were left overflowing. In Cape Town, a number of cars were carried by a freak wave in Bikini Beach, Gardens Bay, after a high tide breached the road and caused damage to vehicles and other infrastructure. Meanwhile, in Gabbera, a number of caravans and structures were left compromised at Mongol's Pole Resort. Earlier, the city of Cape Town said that at least 16 areas have been without electricity due to heavy rains. The city said vandalism and theft also contribute in their power outage. The affected areas include Valhalla Park, Kukuletu, Philippi, Rhodes Drive, Farms, Mfuleni, Brisa Newlands, Fishhook, Claremont, Costania, St. James, Paradise Road, Fairmount Road, Retreat, Rodebosch, Langa, and Plumstead. Disaster management teams in Cape Town spent the better part of Saturday assessing various areas affected by the surge. City of Cape Town Disaster Risk Management Center spokesperson Sonika Litgen said they received reports of rough seas in the Gardens Bay area. The National Sea Rescue Institute has asked residents in both provinces to take care as heavy sea swells and gale force winds batter parts of the coastline. An SRI spokesperson, Craig Lambinen, said various law enforcement agencies were deployed to Bikini Beach, Gardens Bay, where a number of vehicles were threatened by the spring high tide. In Gabbera, emergency service attended Mongol's Pole Resort on Saturday afternoon, where the spring high tide threatened several caravans and structures. Diners who were unwinding at the popular Brass Bell restaurant in Kalk Bay had the shock of their life when a massive wave crashed through the restaurant's window, soaking them. Meanwhile, Mossel Bay Municipality spokesperson said waves of up to 7 meters were recorded with gale force wind of 60 until 70 km per hour. In Canada, Hurricane Lee made landfall as a post-tropical cyclone, bringing hurricane force winds in a far western part of Canada's Nova Scotia province on Saturday, flooding roads, downing trees, and cutting out power for tens of thousands of people along the North Atlantic coast. The U.S. National Hurricane Center said in its latest advisory that Lee was moving north after it made landfall on Long Island, a small island southwest of Halifax, on Saturday. The still powerful weather system packed maximum sustained winds of 65 miles per hour with higher gusts, forecasters said. It brought strong winds, coastal flooding, and heavy rains to parts of coastal Maine and Atlantic Canada. In the Canadian province of Nova Scotia, around 120,000 people were without power on Saturday as winds knocked down trees and felled power lines. In neighboring New Brunswick, nearly 20,000 people experienced power outage. In Maine, nearly 70,000 customers were out of power as of late Saturday, according to website poweroutage.us. Fires wave flashing Nova Scotia's shoreline literally flooded coastal roads with debris in some localities. The storm may bring an additional 1 until 2 inches of rain in parts of eastern Maine and New Brunswick in Canada, the NHC said, highlighting the risk of flooding in these areas. In anticipation of the storm's impact, U.S. President administration issued an emergency declaration for Maine and Massachusetts, providing federal assistance for the states. Lee has been churning as a large hurricane over the Atlantic for more than a week, briefly threatening Bermuda, but mostly harmless for anyone on land.